Well, good evening to everyone out there in internet land. Hi, how are you doing? Glad you can make it. Hope you're going to have fun. Hope you're going to be with us for a while. Why, you ask? Because you have come to Chatting on the Porch, a fun little live stream that we do talking about news, but this one's a little bit different tonight because at 9 o'clock Eastern, we are going to eavesdrop on the town hall that Donald Trump is doing in Pennsylvania, hosted by Fox News. If you're wondering who this handsome devil is in the fedora and the blazing blue eyes, my name is Brian Trippett. I am known in social media as the Front Porch Conservative, sometimes called the wise guy in the wide brim. Sometimes I'm referred to as the fine fella in the fedora, but above all else, I am known as your loving host. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you wouldn't mind doing me some favors, number one, if you're not subscribed to my channel on Rumble and YouTube, please do me some favors. Go ahead and sub. You know you want to do it. Everybody's doing it these days. Oh my gosh, the people that are subbing to my channel. It's great. But do it on Rumble and YouTube. And by the way, you wonderful YouTubers, make sure you keep checking your subscription. YouTube's getting some funny games going on with me, and I do not appreciate it. So I want to make sure you're always aware. Check your sub. Number two, give me a thumbs up. Number three, leave a comment. Number four, share the link around. Let's get as many people in here as we possibly can and have ourselves a good old time tonight. Or, to borrow a line from that song in the 80s, everybody have fun tonight. Everybody Wang Chung tonight, as sung by the great philosophers. Again, we are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, we are on YouTube. My name is Brian Trippett. I'm the Front Porch Conservative. So glad to have you guys here tonight. See, people are already filling into the room, which is always appreciated. Oh my goodness. Oh, you did? Oh, well, that's good. Well, we'll get to that momentarily. Glad to hear it. All right. Oh, so good to have you kids here. My goodness, what a day, what a day. Oh, let's see who's in the house so far. TBA is like, howdy, Fedora Nation. Well, howdy, TBA. Oh my God, 8 p.m., he says. Okay, fine. Where are the other wing nuts to alleviate my impatience? And WWG wants to, I'm clocking in. Well, the wing nuts are over on Rumble. And by the way, don't let those boys scare you. They may be crazy, but we love them. They are harmless. Well, relatively speaking. Let's see who's on the YouTube side checking in for us tonight. All day seeing comments of Tim Walsh compared to oh yeah. Well, I hadn't got the Walls clan story pulled up, but I could probably do it real quick. Very interesting. Let's see who else is here. Miss Shia's in the house. My love. And Gypsy. Love you too. Let's see. Midmo's in the house. Seabass says, I came here to chew ass and kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I know the rest of it, and I'm all out of bubble gum. How do? I do very well. Professor Tie-Dye is here. Well, hello, Professor Tie-Dye. See, you stay on top of YouTube, good things will happen. It's not a new one necessarily. I do wear this one on a fairly regular basis, but always appreciated when it's noticed. I do. All right. And we'll let everybody else start filtering into the room. Oh, you did? Okay, I will take a look at it. If you sent it, I probably just didn't realize it. So there you go. Oh, it's JL Not Here. That's your super secret name, is what it is. A good fellow from the Midwest. Love seeing him here. Yes, indeed. Glad to have you guys here tonight. It is about 5 minutes after 8. I got a bunch of stories prepared. And like I said, at 9 o'clock, we're going to dip in on that town hall that Donald Trump's involved in Pennsylvania tonight. And we'll check that out. Like I said, I'm not necessarily expecting a lot of new or interesting information, but you never know. Never know what might the Donald drop as far as an interesting bit. We do, as is now becoming a regular part of our show, we do have some merry memes of the evening to start off with. And I have to thank you guys for providing the memes. Had a couple of them forwarded to me today. And they're always. Oh, okay. Well, that's no big deal. It's all. Oh, by the way, we got some news out of your beloved Michigan, which I get it. You've got chores, but you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and pop right to it. For anybody that's keeping an eye on the Wolverine State, let me pop this up here. And Gypsy, this might be some good news you'd be interested in hearing about. We got a couple of two different polls out of the state of Michigan. And this one is done on behalf of the Glenn Gariff Group, which apparently, according to Rich Barris, is a really reputable pollster in the state of Michigan. They've got Donald Trump with a 1-point lead. So I share that one with you, particularly Gypsy. I was thinking of that. And then also we have another poll out of Michigan. And this one is done by Epic MRA, which is another very reputable group out of Michigan. Again, Trump with a 1-point lead. So now I know CNN came out today and they've got some screwy, crazed whatever, but no, these two pollsters are local to the state of Michigan. So just wanted to let you know. Hello, Miss Leanne. Hello, darling. Well, the meme segment is starting to become a fun thing on our show. And it's as with all things on the electronic front porch, it kind of evolves out of what we do here. One night I found something funny, and it was either I found it or somebody sent it to me. So I don't know if I should take credit for it, but either way, this meme got posted. And then I said, well, you know what? Why don't we just make it a thing? You guys if you find a really funny meme that you think we really ought to share, because let's be honest, okay? We have all got to find a way to laugh through the next 60 days, or else we are going to lose our freaking minds, okay? So if you, and this is a standing invitation, by the way, which, by the way, keep in mind, host's discretion. If I think it is too risque or over the top, I'll be like, maybe not. But if it's something that I think is within the bounds of good adult humor, yeah, we're going to put it up. So if you guys find a really funny meme, shoot it to me. I am not above putting that up on screen because it's just, we got to find a way to laugh. So we're going to start with the merry memes of the evening. Yeah, I thought that news of those two polls would make you happy. So there you go, Gypsy. Don't say I wasn't thinking of you. All right. The merry meme, we have an update from McDonald's, by the way. As y'all know, there's been a great deal of controversy about Kamala Harris's employment status. Was she employed by McDonald's? Was she not employed by McDonald's? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now have the definitive answer to that question. And this ought to settle it once and for all. There you go. I mean, I don't know how much more final it gets than that. So, there you go. There you go. Yep, she never worked. I mean, and this comes from Ronald McDonald himself. So, I mean, if this doesn't settle the question, y'all, I don't know what does. I do not know what does. Let's see. WWG1's handing me some stuff over here. Hang on a minute. I gotta pop this. I got a string of stinking tabs up here that's just bordering on the stupid. And I always love it. Oh, yeah. Thank you, WWG1. I appreciate that. Yes. These are funny. Oh, my gosh. Oh, this is going to be good when we get into this section of it. Oh, okay. Oh, another good meme. Yes. I'll throw this one in, too. Let's see. Have I got one more over here? Because, I am, WWG1 has a wickedly good sense of humor. And don't tell him I said that, by the way. God, you dropped me a fourth one in here. Jeez, dude. Oh, yeah. Seen that one, but you know what? We'll share it anyway. That's another good one. Let's see, I got a fourth. Okay. All right. All right. Last call has been given. Thank you, WWG1, for all of these. Oh, okay. I love it, but yeah, we're going to use that last one. Absolutely, because that's just too daggone funny. As a matter of fact, I think I'll probably use that one next. Okay. Thank you, WWG1. Appreciate that. So yeah, we have a definitive answer on whether or not Kamala Harris worked at McDonald's. So there you go. We also have a definitive answer on one of the apparent debate strategies that Donald Trump will be employing a week. Well, actually, now we're down to 6 days. Holy cow, that's right. 6 days from now, the former president and the current vice president will be facing off in a debate in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia in particular. And we do now have an idea of one of Donald Trump's strategies that he's going to try and employ, or at least one of his attack lines is probably a better way to say it. So I don't know how far this is going to get him, but I'm just saying, there you go. He might or might not. We don't know yet for sure, but it is rumored that this comment might get made on the debate stage. I don't know. Is this really somewhere where we ought to be going in a presidential debate? I'm just saying. I don't know about this. I don't know. But okay, that's as getting as close to the edge as I'm going to take it. But okay, I think we're all adults here. Oh my Lord. No, okay, they got it. The alarm was going off on my neighbor's car outside. I was getting a little worried. I was like, all right, okay. We always hear about, being prepared for everything. And I think that's always a good motto to take. Well, some people are worried about the zombie apocalypse. I think WWG1 is right. We need to worry more about the idiot apocalypse because it is already upon us. I'm just saying. So there you go. Yeah. Zombies, I can deal with zombies. Idiots, it's a whole other, I don't know, man. I don't know. Kind of scary there. Kind of scary. Now, this next one is more in the way of a news item. Well, wait, before I get to that, I shared this one the other night, but this one's just too good not to share it again. The sign you're about to see was put out on an overpass in Los Angeles. Yeah, tells you how much Californians think of their beloved vice president. Just say it. And by the way, the love doesn't just stop for Kamala Harris's door. Okay. Apparently, and this is now a story today. Oh, wait a minute. Where did it go? Oh, do not tell me that oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I just forgot to drop it down here. Okay. Apparently, we touched on this last night, so let me set this up. Tim Walz's brother lives down in Florida. His name's Jeff. Hadn't spoken to his brother Tim in like 7-8 years. Well, a Facebook post was found where Jeff was kind of hinting at some stuff. Well, today it got taken one step further. This picture got posted around on social media. These apparently are members of the Walz family out in Nebraska. And guess what, folks? I don't think they're going to be voting for Brother Timmy. Looks like they're going for Trump. Now, here's the kicker to this thing. Here's the kicker to it. Okay. And again, I'm not saying it's not true, but I've seen this thing floated. I mean, I haven't heard any interviews from any of these individuals or quotes in newspapers or whatever, but supposedly, the Trump campaign is trying to get these folks on stage with them at a rally somewhere. Can you imagine how bad this is going to get? If this is true, if this picture is legitimately Tim Walz's brothers, sisters, brother-in-laws, sisters-in-laws, his mom, I don't know, all of them. Can you imagine what it's going to be like for Tim Walz, the Democrat nominee for vice president, if his family members show up on stage for Donald Trump at a Trump rally? Oh my Lord, that is great. What? Well, yeah, they did it for RFK Jr. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen. But like I said, And again, and I'm not trying to throw cold water on anything. I've seen the picture, I've seen it floating around the internet, whatever. Um, but I have not seen this in print anywhere. And I'm not saying it's not actually the Walls family. I'm just saying this is a little bit on the unverified side. But if it is true, and Trump and his people actually get them on stage, this would be pricelessly funny. Yeah, WWG1 references the 2016 debate where the Trump campaign brought in Juanita Broderick, Paula Jones, and Jennifer Flowers, and had them sitting on the front row right in front of Hillary. This is akin to that kind of a move. Thank you, WWG1, for all those. Now, these next two are compliments of Gypsy, and they kind of relate to our first story of the night. All right. And this one I think you'll recognize is kind of a classic. This is Bill Murray from Groundhog Day. Well, Bob, it's September of a presidential year. Time for Democrats to claim Russian interference again. Yeah. Now, if you wonder what that is referring to, I got a story here from Breitbart. And this broke probably about, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock this morning. Folks, Donald Trump has been on the national stage now for what? 9 years? Maybe, well, I mean, the national political stage. Let me rephrase that. The national political stage for about 9 years. That man has had every accusation thrown at him imaginable, almost every dirty trick imaginable. The man has survived a attempt on his life and everything in between. And the first year and a half of his presidency, we dealt with Russia collusion. Trump colluded with Russia. Now, almost 9 years later, after Donald Trump came down the golden escalator at Trump Tower in New York City, what are we back to? Check this out. We're right back where we started. From Breitbart.com, Biden-Harris administration accuses Russia of meddling in the 2024 election. Oh my God, here we go again. Article by Christina Wong, we have the following. The Biden-Harris administration on Wednesday accused Russia of an effort to influence the 2024 presidential election and announced charges against 2 Russians, among other actions. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced indictments against 2 Russia-based employees of RT, a Russian state-controlled media outlet, charging them with conspiring to commit money laundering and to violate the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Quote, the American people are entitled to know when a foreign power is attempting to exploit our country's free exchange of ideas in order to send around its own propaganda, Garland said. Garland accused Russia of using RT to, quote, direct disinformation and propaganda. He said that after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, RT's editor-in-chief had, quote, an entire empire of covert projects designed to shape public opinion in Western audiences. Oh, really? Really? You mean the same way that you guys tried to shape public opinion when you were telling Facebook and Twitter to censor certain tweets and posts or throttle them down so their influence was not widespread, or just out and out take them down altogether? Really? You mean that kind of shaping of public opinion? Well, I got to give you guys credit. You would know when Russia was doing it because God knows you've done it enough yourselves. You can see it when someone else is engaging in it. I'll give you credit for that much. Oh my God, here we go again. Confession through projection. You are confessing the sin that you are engaging in when you project it onto somebody else. And again, we're right back where we started. They started this crap just before the 2016 election. Well, Putin's trying to interfere in the election. Well, China's trying to interfere in the election. Donald Trump wins. Oh my God, it must have been Putin. Putin wanted to see Trump win. That's the only. That's obvious. It couldn't be because we ran a bad candidate who was lazy and arrogant and she didn't work hard. Oh no, it had nothing to do with why we lost. It had to do with the fact that Vladimir Putin was interfering in the election. And wouldn't you know it, the candidate for the Democrats this time around is on very shaky ground according to polling. We'll get to that hopefully before the 9 o'clock hour. And sure enough, here comes the federal government again saying Russia collusion, Russia disinformation, Russia interference in the election. Oh my God, the poor American people. I mean, you know, we think what was that quote? That quote's just great. The American people are entitled to know when a foreign power is attempting to exploit our country's free exchange of ideas in order to send around its own propaganda. Oh my God. Yeah, Minmo, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right with this crap. Anyway, read a little bit more of this article. Just unbelievable with these guys. Garland accused RT and its employees of implementing a nearly $10 million scheme to fund and direct a Tennessee-based company to, quote, publish and disseminate content deemed favorable to the Russian government. He said the defendants directed the company to contract with U.S.-based social media influencers to share that content on their platforms. Uh-oh. I think I know where we're going here. Garland said separately the Justice Department will seize 32 internet domains that the Russian government and the Russian-sponsored actors have used to engage in, quote, a covert campaign to interfere in and influence the outcome of our country's elections. Oh, so now the government's going to seize on internet domains. That's just great. Quote, an internal planning document created by the Kremlin states that a goal of the campaign is securing Russia's preferred outcome in the election, Garland said, without mentioning what the preferred outcome was. Oh my God, with these guys. Garland accused a Russian public relations company called the Social Design Agency of design these domains to look like major news sites like the Washington Post or Fox News. But in fact, they're fake sites. They're filled with Russian government propaganda that had been created by the Kremlin to reduce international support for Ukraine, bolster pro-Russian policies and interests, and influence voters in the United States and other countries. Well, gee, I got a novel idea. Hey, Merrick, why don't you just let the Russians do whatever they want and let the American people decide for themselves? I mean, seriously. Do you think we can't see through the BS? Do you think that we're so dumb that we can't figure out if something's BS or not? Why don't you just let free speech have its way? But oh no, you can't do that. No. You cannot possibly have, the American people thinking for themselves that, and if they do, that it might reduce support for Ukraine or, influence voters in the United States. Oh my gosh. Just unbelievable with these jokers. So ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're right back here. We're right back there. All Russia's fault. Yeah, and Biden returns the merchant of death. He's so worried about, Russian influence on the election. Unbelievable. So that will explain this particular meme, which again, thank you, Gypsy, for this one. Yeah, here's your Russian interference in the election. Look at that hammer and sickle. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. There's your Russian influence on the election. The good old-fashioned Soviet hammer and sickle. Yep. And by the way, very accurate, might I add. Very accurate indeed. So, yep. We got that going on, which is not good. And Chaya, I'm going to drop that on both sides. And if you want to use that one, be my guest. Good evening, Professor. Glad to have you here tonight. So, yeah, we got that kind of fun going on again, 8 years later. I'll give the Democrats credit. They know how to recycle from the graveyard of forgotten favorites. Okay, tell you what, it's about 8:25, so let's do a real quick commercial, and then we'll shift to our next topic, which is really more serious and unfortunately quite tragic. So, with that, it's 8:25 Eastern. My name is Brian Tripp, and I'm the Front Porch Conservative. And you have found your way to a session of Chatting on the Porch, which is going to be a little bit different tonight because at 9 o'clock, we're going to eavesdrop in on that town hall that Fox News is hosting and that Donald Trump is participating in. Remember, this could have been the night that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump were debating each other, but of course, Kamala didn't want to do that. She wanted to go on Fox. We're not even sure she's going to even go on NBC later on in October. So far as we know at this point, there's only one debate that's been agreed to, and that's the one on ABC. So we'll see what happens. But in the meanwhile, we are on Rumble, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, and like I said, at 9 o'clock, we're going to dip in on that town hall. But in the meanwhile, do me some favors. If you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so. Also, please hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, and share the link around. We would genuinely appreciate it. So there you go. All right. Let us, and we need to do this. And this is where I'm going to start getting serious. About, I guess maybe 11, 12 o'clock this morning, we got a report coming out of Georgia of a school shooting. And this one ended in tragedy. And with that, we turn to NBC News. Back to headline. There we go. 2 students and 2 teachers are killed in a shooting at a Georgia high school. 14-year-old charged as an adult. At least 9 others were injured at Appalachia High School in Barrow County, Georgia. Georgia Bureau of Investigation said. Story by David Lee, Tom Winter, Jonathan Dienst, and Michelle Chan. We had the following. 2 students and 2 teachers were killed and 9 others wounded Wednesday in a school shooting an hour outside of Atlanta, authorities said. One suspect, a 14-year-old student, was alive and taken into custody following the gunfire at Appalachia High School. Georgia Bureau of Investigation Director Chris Hosey said at a news conference later that day on Wednesday afternoon. The suspect surrendered to law enforcement immediately after being confronted, Hosey said. He was cooperating with authorities and will be charged with murder and handled as an adult, according to Hosey and a Barrow County Sheriff, Judd Smith. Quote, he gave up, got on the ground, and the deputy took him into custody, Smith said. Smith lamented the pure evil and hateful event that occurred at the school. All 9 who were taken to hospitals were injured by gunfire in some capacity. A motive was unclear. Smith said he was not aware whether the victims were targeted or whether there was a connection between the shooter and the victims. Quote, I don't know why it happened. I may not ever know. We may not ever know. Smith said it's unclear whether there were any warning signs. Hold on to that thought, folks, because there's something to follow up to with that. Smith said authorities do not yet know how the shooter obtained the firearm and how he brought it into the school. Earlier, he said it would take multiple days to determine what happened. Every minute it's developing on what we find out. Okay, now that's NBC News' version of it. That said, there was some warning, apparently, and I've got a story here from CNN, and this needs to be mentioned. Now, I only mention this because it's in the news. It's being reported. I am not laying any blame. I am not necessarily saying it's this person's fault or that person's fault. But if this is true, the argument that says that there was no warning about this is not going to hold up. With that, I take you to the pages of CNN.com. Appalachia High School received a phone call this morning that warned about the shooting, officials say. From CNN's John Miller and Mark Morales, we've got the following. The high school at the center of today's mass shooting in Georgia received an earlier phone threat. Multiple law enforcement officials tell CNN. Law enforcement officials in Georgia say Appalachia High School received a phone call this morning warning that there would be shootings at 5 schools and that Appalachia would be the first. It is not known who placed the call. Officials tell CNN they are investigating the call and where it originated from. Now let me add some what I think is appropriate context. Okay. According to CNN, they got the school got the call this morning. Okay. We don't know when it came in. We don't know who got the information. All we know at this point is CNN is reporting the school got a phone call telling them there would be a shooting and that their school was first on the list. What was done with that information, we don't know yet. And that sort of begs another interesting question. Will we ever know? So yeah, very tragic stuff. 2 students and 2 teachers dead. And, now, Professor, I may, hang on a minute. I think I did, but give me a second. I saw something related to Lauren. Hang on. But I cannot remember right off the top of my head what it was. Oh. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Uh-oh. Okay. Yeah. And I'm not trying to tease you guys, but I need some time to dig into this thing. So and again, I'm not trying to tease anybody here, but I need some time to dig into this one. This is a good question going back to the schools. Yeah, and that's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question, Gypsy. I don't know. All I know is supposedly, and again, CNN could be absolutely wrong in their reporting for all I know, but they're reporting that the school got a phone call. And what was done with it? Who knows? Who knows indeed. So there you go. Which, by the way, it didn't take Kamala Harris very long to, or Democrats in general, to jump on this thing. It just, well, what was Rahm Emanuel's great line? Never let a crisis go to waste. Well, they didn't. She was speaking today in, believe it was Pittsburgh. Let me make sure about that before I say anything. No, I'm sorry, it was New Hampshire. My apologies. She was speaking in New Hampshire today. And like I say, didn't take her long to jump on this one.
We've got to stop it. And we have to end this epidemic of gun violence in our country once and for all. You know, it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. And then.
Okay, that was today. The bottom clip is from 2019. Just to let y'all know. Remember, it doesn't have to be this way, folks. Well, that said, here's Kamala from 2019.
And then also, again, what we need to do about demilitarizing our schools and taking police officers out of schools. We need to deal with the reality and speak the truth about the inequities around school discipline.
There you go. Do I think it's a good idea? Do I want to see armed guards in schools? No, I don't, because to me, that's stopping a problem, but it doesn't necessarily address it. But then again, you can't sit there and say oh, it doesn't have to be this way. And then on the other hand, about 4 years earlier, saying, yeah, we got to get these armed guards out of the schools. You know. So there you go. That's a great. Did you see the video coming out of Denver today? Oh my gosh. And oh my goodness. What, sir, we have not talked in a long time, and I have got to catch up with you. But ladies and gentlemen, if you are wanting to follow the business of Hollywood and all the things that go in and out of that industry, you need to be subscribed to Culture Casino. This is probably one of the coolest content creators on the whole. We are missing a like. Oh, thank you, sir. That is gracious of you. But yeah, I know this guy too. And if you want to follow the ins and outs of the business side of Hollywood and everything that's going on, he's a fabulous content creator. Valiant Renegade is another one. Man, let me tell you something. Those cats are doing God's work over on that side of the internet, keeping an eye on Disney, on Hollywood, on the business side of Hollywood. And let me tell you something. You have got to subscribe to this guy. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And Culture, brother, you are most welcome here this evening, sir. Glad to have you. Dude, I gotta, there's so many people I gotta catch up with, and I just have been remiss in doing it. But yeah, I gotta reach out to you sometime soon. We gotta talk. Just if for no other reason, to just shoot the breeze. Absolutely. Because I have not been able to keep up with things on your side of the internet the way I really like to. But yeah, we need a conversation sometime soon. But yes, follow Culture Casino. Subscribe to his channel. Yeah, it's amazing what a locked door will do to prevent 98%. Yeah, Uvalde. I got one word answer for that. Uvalde. Amazing what a locked door would have done at Uvalde, Texas, among other things. Oh, goodness. So yeah, didn't take the Democrats long to jump on that one. Yeah, I agree with you on this. Talking about Valiant Renegade. I'm trying, brother. I'm trying. But I appreciate your very kind words. And man, it is so good to see you. It really is. So good to see you. See, it didn't take old Kamala long. Oh, which by the way, remember the other day we showed you that clip of Kamala getting out of the SUV with the earbuds in, and she walks up the ramp of the plane and didn't take one single solitary question from reporters. Well, did it again in a slightly different form. Did you guys see this? This is Kamala on the way to New Hampshire. Check this out.
House debate prep.
Now, did you hear that? The reporter is literally yelling out over the ambient noise and the jet engines, "House debate prep." I mean, literally. What does she get for her trouble?
Madam Vice President, how is debate prep going?
Ladies and gentlemen, let me translate that move for you. That's the move is basically this. You get to the top of the stairs, you turn around, you wave at the press, and you want to know how that's translated? Bye-bye, suckers. Folks, I mean, look, you can call me old-fashioned if you want to. You can call me naive. That's fine. But I'm sorry. 60 days of this is not going to be tolerated by a significant portion of the American people. They're going to look at this. She keeps rubbing her nose in the fact that people in the press are trying to ask her questions. Not necessarily everybody. Okay, not necessarily everybody. But there are people in the press that are trying to ask her questions. Some of them are really good. Some of them are basic, even basic stock questions, right? She won't answer a damn thing. And I'm sorry. You pull this crap, Keep on doing this for 60 days and watch what happens to you. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that there is a bunch of mind-numb Democrats out there. You know, they're going to walk to the voting booth or they're going to fill out a mail-in ballot, go, ooh, Kamala Democrat, she not Trump, bad man orange. And they're going to vote for her. I get it. I understand. But there's still some reasonably minded people out there. They're watching her pull this kind of crap, and they're just not going to put up with it. Which, by the way, I heard a report today that, and this is from a local newspaper in New Hampshire. I believe it's the New Hampshire Journal. Now that my memory is actually working, the New Hampshire Journal. So she's holding a press event. Okay, she's holding a press event, and as you might expect, I mean, you know, certain journalistic institutions are going to ask for press credentials. Now, keep in mind, this is the New Hampshire Journal. Okay, very well respected journalistic institution in the Granite State. Okay, now whether you agree with their takes, don't agree with their takes, that's fine. I understand. But they are a respected institution of the press. Kamala Harris's campaign wouldn't give him a thing. Nothing. Wouldn't give him press credentials. Now, I have not followed up with that, but that was the report that I saw this morning. They posted this on their own Twitter page. They posted that they had asked for press credentials, wouldn't get a thing. Didn't get a thing. Just unbelievable with this woman. Really. And by the way, it doesn't just stop with reporters trying to shout questions. To tell you how bad it's getting, Alex Thompson, who is one of the lead writers over at Politico, he posted this on his Twitter page today. The Harris campaign wrote in an email that, quote, she does not support an electric vehicle mandate. So Alex, being the journalist that he is, he writes back. I asked if that meant she would veto or sign the bill that she co-sponsored in 2019 with such a mandate on manufacturers. Okay, so here we got one of those classic flip-flops from Kamala. In 2019, she sponsors a bill that says she wants to mandate on manufacturers that they mandate electric vehicles, EVs. Now she's saying she doesn't support that. So Alex Thompson, being a journalist, and again, you can like him, not like him, agree with him, disagree with him, but he asks Kamala the reasonable question. So does that mean that that you would veto a bill if it came to you with an electric vehicle mandate? And what does he get for his trouble? Nothing. No response. Absolutely nothing. I'm telling you, I mean, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but 60-something days of this is not going to sit well with the American people. At least a certain percentage of them, let's put it that way. And she cannot afford to lose any votes, which I'll show you why here in a minute. Blocked ad runner over on Rumble. Walls is involved in a COVID fraud scheme and his family is supporting. I saw that about Walls. He's being subpoenaed to testify before Congress. They're kind of after his scalp on this, or somebody is. You know, yeah, we might be talking about that tomorrow night. Matter of fact, let me jot that down for potential ideas for tomorrow evening. Walls congressional testimony. Yep, thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. I love you guys. You are just a kick-ass audience. I love the way you guys keep feeding me stuff. Love it. You guys are great. Yeah, she has zero intention she doesn't even want to. Matter of fact, I got an article from the New Republic where they're saying, hey, why does she need to? I'm sorry. She's only asking to lead 330 million people for the next 4 years with a government that operates on a $6 trillion budget and has access to nuclear weapons. Call me crazy, but I think it kind of incumbent upon her. Yeah. Oh, you hold on to that. If we can squeeze this in tonight, I have got the clips. I've got the ones you're talking about. I've got the ones exactly you're talking about. So yeah, you hold on to that thought. Oh, by the way, for folks watching this live stream who might be in Pennsylvania, and my dear friend, the professor Christian Watson, I know that he calls the Keystone State home. I got some news for you. You're going to get to see more Kamala than you ever expected. According to the legendary Selena Zito, Harris makes Pittsburgh her home base for the next 5 days. I'm sorry to depress everyone with that piece of news, but you probably ought to know why. Selena Zito writes the following. Vice President Kamala Harris will spend Thursday through Tuesday in Pittsburgh preparing for the presidential debate on September the 10th and interacting with voters. The White House said Harris is scheduled to return just 3 days after spending Labor Day with Vice President Joe Biden in the city. Harris's running mate, Governor Tim Walz, will also visit Pittsburgh in addition to the stop in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and a rally in Erie on Thursday. No further details have been released about the public appearances of either candidate to date. Pennsylvania is the nation's most populous swing state. At 19 electoral votes, is considered the most important state for a Harris victory. Oh, I know. Yeah. My brother, you have my sympathies for the fact that she's going to be hanging out in your state. You know what? I laugh. Not at you. I'm not laughing at you. But I am laughing at your recommendation for how to avoid any angst that this woman might provide. Getting within earshot of her cackling might be just enough to send somebody over the edge. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Brother, I love you. I absolutely love you. Yeah, so all you yinzers up there, get ready. You're about to get your fill of Kamala mania. Just saying. Ugh. Oh, boy. So, as I say, Kamala Harris was up in New Hampshire today. And there's been something of a funny phenomenon going on with her rallies of late. And this started when she was down in Georgia. Now, I don't know if you guys had heard about this or not, but she was appearing, I guess was it Atlanta? Yeah, it was Atlanta. I think it was last week. And according to reports, she was busing people in from Savannah, Georgia. Now, I don't know if you know anything about the geography of Georgia, but that's a pretty good little haul, okay? Because in my not my recollections, but I can show this on a map. Give me a second here. Hang on one second, folks. Only take me a moment. Yeah, the rally, as I recall, was in state of Georgia. Yeah, let me pop this over here. One of the few times I'll ever use Google on a live stream. But let me zoom this thing in. Yeah, it's like a 2 to 4 hour jaunt. Okay. Now, I want you guys to take a look at this. Check this out. Okay. Atlanta. Well, I might be able to enlarge this just a little bit more and still get away with it. Yeah, here we go. This is better. Here's Atlanta clear up here. Savannah is down on the coast. Okay. That's at least depending upon, I say, if you come straight up interstate, you're probably looking at anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, depending on who's driving. So supposedly, according to reports, they hauled people all the way from Savannah up to where she was at in Atlanta. Okay. Or let's just say even it was in Macon. All right. Just split the difference. Macon's almost halfway between Atlanta and Savannah, but you get my point. She was hauling people in by the busload over hours of road. Well, at her event today up in New Hampshire, apparently she did the same thing. I got a tweet here from Caroline Levitt, who's the national press secretary for the Trump campaign, and you're going to love this. I just received a message, and she posted this around 11 o'clock this morning. I just received a message from a local New Hampshire radio host. Kamala's event, and here's the text exchange between the New Hampshire radio host and Caroline Levitt. I'm getting messages from listeners on the Seacoast who are saying, FYI, the people going to the Harris event in Northampton are being bussed in from Massachusetts. They've counted 4 full buses of people from all over Massachusetts, license plates coming in, and they're not from New Hampshire. Oh, now, wait a minute, folks. I have a question for you, and I'm serious about this. Okay? Look, if memory serves me right, the last time that a Republican won New Hampshire in a presidential election was 2000, when W ran against Al Gore. Okay? Ever since then, that state has been more or less Democrat. It's been purplish, but you could just call it a Democrat state. There's been some close ones. 2016 was close between Hillary and Trump, but more or less, New Hampshire is a Democrat state. And let me also add, I can understand the argument of her advance team that you want to build up the size of the crowd. I understand that. Okay. But that said, if Kamala Mania is as wild and widespread as everybody's supposed to believe, and we are in the season of joy, and everybody just in love with this woman, and it's all about the joy and the happiness, why is she having to bus people in from Massachusetts? Now, again, I get it, okay? The responsibility of the advance team is to make sure that your crowd, there's 2 jobs that you've got when you're staging an event. Number 1, you make sure you've got the biggest freaking crowd you possibly can. And number 2, you make sure you've got the press there to see it. Okay? Especially the local press. Okay? I'll never forget one of my political mentors, Big Bob Winchester. He was a former state senator out of Southern Illinois, one of the best guys you'll ever meet. Just a genuinely good guy. He taught me when I was working in politics, he said, Brian, there's 2 things you've got to do. Number 1, get the crowd. Number 2, the press. We got to have the press. And he stressed it above all else. Make sure you get the local press. Okay. It's the responsibility of the advance team to get the biggest crowd there you possibly can. But you mean to tell me that in the midst of Kamala Mania, that she's got to bus people in from Massachusetts? You mean to tell me that, mid-afternoon in September in New Hampshire, they can't round up enough local Democrats to create a big crowd for the vice president of the United States? You've got to bus people in, and not just bust them in. Apparently, they bust in a crap load of them. I've got a tweet here from Colin Rugg, who's the co-owner of Trending Politics. Apparently, they bust in upwards of 12 different buses full of people from Massachusetts. And check this out. Yeah, lots of yellow buses from a Yankee line. I counted a half a dozen of them. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was right. It was from Savannah to Atlanta, a 4-hour drive. Check this out.
Kamala Harris is in New Hampshire. It kind of became news this week. No details. Northampton, New Hampshire, at a brewery, Northampton. And yet and it's a New Hampshire event. Northampton happens to be in New Hampshire. We're getting listener calls, eyewitness accounts that buses on Route 1 are coming in from Massachusetts, full of Massachusetts people, one would presume, going to the event. Sue Polidor, one of our listeners, witnessing this on Route 1 this morning. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jack. I so happened to have an appointment in Hampton, and I was greeted with this lovely event. Lots of yellow buses from a Yankee line. I must have counted at least half a dozen of them. And as I approached the area where the brewery is, the Department of Transportation created a parameter.
Okay, that's starting to glitz on me, but you get the idea here. I mean, this is a local listener calling into one of the radio stations up there, and they're saying, "Hey, man, these buses are coming in just all over the place," and yeah, she's piping in people the same way she did for the rally down in Atlanta. She bussed people in from 4 hours away in Savannah. And who was it? Blocked Ad Runner over on Rumble. Isn't Savannah mostly conservative? If it's a military town, which by the way, if y'all have never been to Savannah, okay, I'm telling you right now, you have got to go vacation down there sometime. Take a 4-day weekend. And again, everybody's situation's different. I'm not trying to tell y'all what to do. But if ever you're looking for a great town to go hang out in that's very relaxed, very chill, lots of history, just all kinds of stuff. If you love history and walking tours and everything else, you've got to go to Savannah. And by the way, the food's fantastic. Okay. I mean, look at me. Do I look like I missed too many meals? When I recommend a town for the food, go for the food. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But she's going to get 84 million votes. Yeah, exactly. There you go. So, oh yeah, yeah. But this isn't. Oh. There is one funny. There's one really big funny. Oh yeah, Savannah's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Fantastic town. I had it's about. Yeah, it's 2 years ago now. I needed a long weekend, and it just so happened that Chrissy Mayer was doing a show at a club called the Wormhole down in Savannah, and I just sort of turned into a long weekend. I went down there and saw Chrissy Mayer's show. It was fantastic, by the way. Anytime you can see Chrissy Mayer anywhere, go do it. I mean, she's not, because of the baby, she's not necessarily touring right now, but yeah, go see Chrissy Mayer. It's just, she's tremendous. And I got to spend about 3 or 4 days in Savannah, and let me tell you something. I would do it all over again. That vacation was just amazing. Tybee Island's not too far away. The beaches are fantastic. Yeah, it's just gorgeous down there. Absolutely great place. But one last funny from today's event up in New Hampshire. So they bust all these people in, right? And turns out a bunch of them got stuck. Kamala Harris' campaign has told people at the rally they can't leave because the buses they used to bus them in from are not operational for another 30 minutes. The announcement came over the speakers at the rally, and you can hear the people were already in line. They yelled, "No!" See, that'll teach y'all Massachusetts Democrats go hanging out with them with that Kamala. Y'all know better. When a California Democrat invites you to a thing, y'all ought to know better. That's no bueno. Don't be doing that. That is no good at all. Okay, we are down to 2 minutes. So some of this stuff I'm going to save for tomorrow night. And let me start getting this thing set up for the live stream, or to eavesdrop in on Fox News' coverage of the town hall. Hannity's hosting the thing. Yeah, see, that's kind of a hard question to answer. And I agree with you about the diversity of America's landscape. I totally agree with that. But Europe has so many great old cathedrals, old cities, so many different things. And God, that's really hard to do. It really is a tough comparison. Okay, let me check some things here, guys.
Gettr puts in the work so you don't have to. Celebrate.
Okay. Do me a favor. First of all, give me a sound check. Let me know if you guys can hear this and see this. I think you can see it. Can you hear it? Okay, well, it's the spinning wheel of death, but we'll take care of that in a minute. Okay, let me clear some stuff out of here, and we'll make this easier for everybody. some of this stuff we're going to get to at a later date, but it's definitely all worth talking about. Come on, baby. Okay, I think I've cleared out about everything I can clear out at this point. So, what's going on here? Okay. All right, let's try this again. Tell me if you guys can see this and hear it.
Burdened by what has been with these Russian collusion.
Okay, we'll just hang out here for a minute.
Aren't we all? Dan from Tinley Park, Illinois. Why didn't Biden just tell the Russians don't? don't. Laura from Plano, Texas.
Thank you.
I had a dream about you last night. And? Text me tomorrow. Tell me more. All right, we have the great Sean Hannity is next with Donald Trump at a town hall. 9 o'clock, the whole hour. It's going to be great. DVR, the show, and always remember, I'm Waters, and this is my world.
And folks, I'll pop back in during commercial breaks, and just to kind of give you my thoughts on the whole thing. But let's listen in because looks like they're starting it up. And like I say, I will be back during commercials.
Beautiful Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Hello, Harrisburg. A massive crowd. In just a minute, former President Donald Trump will join us for an hour. In part, he will answer your questions. Think about this. In just 13 days, early voting will officially get underway across the Keystone State. In a few days, just mail-in ballots will go out in other states. And we are only 61 days from what I believe is an inflection point for the country. That's less than 2 months away. And that's the 2024 election. The race, according to polls, is close in 7 states. The latest Trafalgar poll has Donald Trump up by 2 in this state of Pennsylvania. This state could very well decide the entire race nationwide. The Real Clear Politics average shows statistically it is close, a tie in these states. Meanwhile, left-leaning statistician Nate Silver is giving President Trump a 58% chance of winning the Electoral College. But that too remains close. Trump is now trending up in Nate Silver's model and multiple polls after Kamala's long-lived honeymoon phase now finally appears to be over. Our one and only interview was a whopping 16 minutes and 30 seconds of talk time. I've done a lot of interviews with Donald Trump. I promise you, not one has gone under an hour. She has yet to hold a single formal press conference in 45 days after her coronation. She won't even take unscripted questions from voters at a town hall. Later on, we will be taking questions from this audience. She apparently pretended to be on a phone call to avoid reporters on the tarmac. That was yesterday. The truth is she doesn't have a good answer for her radical beliefs or sudden flipping and flopping and flailing or her horrible record in the Biden-Harris administration. She keeps saying, well, I'm going to deal with inflation on day one. I'm going to deal with the border on day one. Day one was January 20th, 2021. So Kamala and her far left emotional support, Governor Tim Walz, are now hiding in plain sight behind their teleprompter, short scripted events. Democrats are hoping that Kamala can win on vibes, phony proclamations of joy, and even phonier proclamations of freedom. But in reality, the vibes haven't been the same since Donald Trump left office. Let's look at the facts. Under the former president, Americans had more money, less debt. Housing was more affordable. Food, clothing, insurance, gas, everything was more affordable. Interest rates were at record lows. The world was a more peaceful place. The border of our country was secure. Americans were more safe and secure in their towns and cities. So what happened to this country in the last 4 years under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? And I asked this audience in Harrisburg, are you better off than you were 4 years ago today? Now, Here to answer that question and many more, let's give a warm Harrisburg, Pennsylvania welcome to the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much. Beautiful. Hello, everybody. Hi, Sean.
How are you, sir? Great to see you. Grab a seat.
Okay.
Get comfortable.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. David. Wow.
Wow.
Nice crowd.
I would say
It's a big crowd.
You know, I mentioned we had this terrible shooting in Georgia.
Right.
Our prayers are with our friends in Georgia. And I've been doing town halls and interviews in public with you for all these years since you got into the political arena. And I told this audience, never before have restrictions been so tight, obviously after the assassination attempt as well. And Director Ray said the threat level has never been this bad. He said it 5 consecutive times before Congress. What is going on?
Well, it's a sick and angry world for a lot of reasons. And we're going to make it better. We're going to heal our world. We're going to get rid of all these wars that are starting all over the place because of incompetent American leadership. And we're going to make it better. You know, Viktor Orban made a statement. They said, bring Trump back and we won't have any problems. He was very strong about that. So we're going to hopefully do very well. We have an election coming up. And actually, you know, they keep saying 60, but it starts in Delaware and North Carolina and other places a lot sooner than that. So we're going to be, I think we're going to be very well set up to do a great job. And do we love Pennsylvania? Do we love it?
Let me ask you. Mr. President, let me ask you this. Between
I'm not sure they're going to let him talk.
this is a very tough interview.
One thing I'll say is that we did great in 2016. We did much better in 2020. We got millions of more votes. But there has never been enthusiasm like we have now. I mean, I see it all over. There's never been anything like it. And I hear the polls are very close and we have a little lead and a little. I just find it hard to believe because, first of all, they've been so bad. They've done such a bad job. But that's why the enthusiasm's so good, because they never had anything to compare it by. You know, I ran and I didn't have anything at all. I just was a successful businessman and we did a good campaign. But the next time we had something special. We could talk about what we did, but we never could imagine we'd have borders where 20 million people are poured into our country. Many criminals from all over the world are coming into our country. They're coming from jails, from not just South America, from all over the world. They're coming in at levels that nobody's ever seen. They're coming from prisons. They're allowing prisoners to come out of all countries. They had almost 180 countries represented over the last number of months. 180. Most people don't know that you have that many countries. They're emptying out their prisons and jails. They're emptying out their mental institutions and insane asylums. They're emptying out the sickest people, and they're emptying all into the United States. And you said it better than anybody. More terrorists have come into the United States in the last 3 years than I think probably 50 years. There's never been anything like it. These people are so bad. They're so dangerous. What they've done to our country is they're destroying our country, and we can't let this happen. If they won, you'd have not 20 million, you'll have 100 million people. You won't have Social Security. You won't have Medicare. You won't have anything already. If you take a look at the numbers, they're filling up and loading up Social Security, Medicare with illegal immigrants that have come into our country, many of them from jails and many of them from very bad places. And we're not going to destroy our country, Sean.
I'm going to play Kamala Harris and the comments that she has made about the border, because I think this is important. I want to play her in her own words about this. You're right. We have people, almost 11 million plus. We don't know how many gotaways there are. We have hundreds of known terrorists that have entered the country. We don't know what countries they've come from. We're allowing people in. They've come in from Iran, Syria, Egypt, Afghanistan, China, tens and tens of thousands, Russia, Venezuela. I don't think they're coming here because they want a better life, as maybe some other people are. And we know nothing about them. We haven't vetted them. I scroll the names often on this show of people that have been murdered, people that have been raped, people victims of violent crime. And this is all happening by unvetted Harris Biden illegal immigrants. What is your, well, I can play your tape. I'll play that maybe after your answer, but what is your reaction to you've spoken to some of the families of loved ones.
I said at the beginning, I said, I heard they were going to have open borders. They want open borders. She wants open borders. Now she's all of a sudden saying, oh, I think we'll close the borders. She was the border czar, whether you like it or not. But even if you don't want to use that term, she was in charge of the border. It's the worst border in the history of the world, not just here. There's never been a country that allowed 21 million people to come in over a 3-year period. There's never been. And 21 million people, many of whom are from prisons, many of whom are murderers and drug dealers and child traffickers. And by the way, women traffickers. You know, women trafficking is the biggest, and they're traffickers in women. And they're coming in now, and they're putting them in our Social Security accounts, and they're putting them in our Medicare. And just one thing, if you take a look over the last week, I said this was going to happen, and it's happening. Because these people are tougher than our criminals. Our criminals are nice people by comparison. That's the only good thing. We're showing how nice our criminals are. They came from 22 people recently came from the Congo in Africa. Where do you come from? Prison. What did you do? We refuse to say. We're letting everybody in. We're letting everybody in. Take a look at Aurora in Colorado, where Venezuelans are taking over the whole town. They're taking over buildings, the whole town. And the sheriff, who can blame them? I mean, they have AK-47s. You saw it the other day. They're knocking down doors and occupying apartments of people. The people are petrified, and it's getting worse and worse. You look at New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and now you look at all over the place. You take a look at Iowa, Idaho, places that never had the problem. They're pouring in. 21 million people, that's bigger than New York. And we have to stop it. And we have to do the largest deportation in the history.
Let me play for you. And this is really a problem for the campaign, in my view, is early voting is about to start. And I don't know how many Americans are truly familiar with her positions of decriminalizing illegal immigration and free housing, healthcare, education. Tim Walz wants free college education, legal driver's licenses.
I was so honored today.
And she wants a path to citizenship.
His brother endorsed me.
I saw it.
I'd stay away from that one, Donald. Not until you hear him say it.
And honestly, it was a very nice looking family. But his brother endorsed me, and the whole family endorsed me. I said, who are all the people?
Let me play
Kamala. There's something weird with that guy. He's a weird guy. JD is not weird. He's a solid rock. I happen to be a very solid rock. We're not weird. We're other things perhaps, but we're not weird. But he is a weird guy. He walks on the stage. There's something wrong with that guy. And he called me weird. And then the fake news media picks it up. That was the word of the day. Weird, weird, weird. They're all going, but we're not weird guys. We're very solid people that want our country to be great again. I mean, it's very simple.
Let's play Kamala in her own words on the issue of immigration.
This whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making.
You support giving universal health care, Medicare for all, to people who are in this country illegally?
Let me just be very clear about this. I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health, period. We have to have a secure border, but I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct. The border is secure. Listen, I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered and the work it is doing, and we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
So, and now she wants to offer a path to citizenship, which by any definition would be amnesty. Your reaction?
But, well, before you even start with that, of course it's ridiculous. You can't do it. No country could sustain this. But she wants no fracking in Pennsylvania. She wants no fracking. And she said it 100 times. There will be no fracking. There will be no fracking. There will be no fracking. Then just recently she said, yes, I could approve fracking. Look, this is a woman who is dangerous. I don't think too smart, but let's see. But she loses her train of thought a lot. She goes, that's why she doesn't want to do interviews. Can you imagine her doing an interview like this or like any of them? I mean, she did an interview with Dana Bash on CNN. And, you know, I have to tell you, Dana Bash did the debate with Joe Biden with, I used to call him Fake Tapper, but I don't do that anymore. You know why? Because he was very honorable and so was she. And I thought that she would give a fair interview based on the debate because she was fair. I was surprised, to be honest with you. I didn't expect that, but she was fair. I thought I did well. I don't think he did too well. Although a friend of mine said, you shouldn't have done the interview. He's not going to make it. And you know what? He didn't make it. You know, think of this. It's very unfair in a lot of ways. I complain about it, but she ran against him in the primary. She got no votes. And she was the first to leave, 22 people or something like that. And she dropped. She was down to nothing, never even made Iowa. And he got 14 million votes and they threw him out. They said, we want you out. And he wasn't going to win, I don't think. I mean, I don't think he was going to win, but we did a good debate. We had a good debate and it was a fair debate. And he was down like 18 or 19 points after the debate. And I hate mosquitoes. I'm surprised I didn't think we had. We don't like those mosquitoes running around. We want nothing to do with them. And we want nothing to do with bad politicians that hate our country, too. You want to know the truth. But they went to him and they said, we want you out. You're not going to win. And it was really a coup when you think about it. And the woman who came in, the person that came in last, I mean, she came in last. She was the first one out of all those people. You had many people that did pretty well. It was actually close at the end. And then in South Carolina, and by the way, New Hampshire was so badly treated by the Democrat Party and by Joe Biden and her. I can't imagine New Hampshire voting for him. Anybody in New Hampshire, because they're watching right now, but anybody in New Hampshire that votes for Biden and Kamala, I really think, I call her a comrade Kamala because that's what her ideology is. But you know that she did something after decades and decades and decades. It was Iowa, the first two, Iowa, New Hampshire. And that's the way people thought it was going to be. He didn't want to go to New Hampshire. He didn't want to play the New Hampshire game. And so he went to a different state. We won't mention. It's a great state. I won it by a lot. I love that state. But he dumped New Hampshire. And I said to people today, Who the hell from New Hampshire would vote for this guy? He changed the whole primary system. He changed the whole system because he took them out of the order. I think it's going to have a big effect. We really want to win New Hampshire. I've done well there, and we really want to win New Hampshire.
Let me go back to the issue, and it's a big issue in the state of Pennsylvania, and you mentioned it. And let me just tell the audience, so everybody is fully aware, is that tonight Fox offered a debate opportunity between you and Kamala Harris, and I was not going to be here, but it was going to be Brett and Martha.
This was supposed to be a debate.
Right. So
I would have preferred.
I think he's
a nice guy, but I would have preferred a debate.
Thanks a lot.
But this is the best we could do, Sean.
You're stuck with me. No, let me though play, because the big issue in this state is the issue of banning fracking. Now, in that, I thought it was a horrible interview and a missed opportunity. Do you know, for 16 minutes, she spoke for 16 minutes and 29 seconds. In that whole interview, the only interview, you and J.D. Vance have done, this is your 36th interview or press conference between the two of you. And we don't know if she supports the Green New Deal she co-sponsored with Bernie Sanders that would cost $93 trillion. We don't know if she stands by that. We don't know if she supports Medicare for all that would eliminate all private health insurance. We don't know if she would really ban fracking. Now, in the CNN interview, she said, well, I said in 2020 that, I would not ban fracking. CNN had to fact check her and say, no, she never said it. This is what she really said.
Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah.
So would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes. And I've, again, worked on that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you're a better businessman than I am. Isn't energy, fracking, oil the lifeblood of the world's economy?
So the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania cannot even take a chance, because that's the real opinion from her. Now, the whole country would go down the tubes if you didn't do the fossil fuel thing. It just would go. And you can do all sorts of other things. But, Germany tried it, and it lasted for about 9 months, and they were going to go down the tubes entirely. And somebody else came in, and I hate to say, they're building a coal plant every single week, and they're building nuclear, and they're doing a lot of things. It's never worked. It never will work. But Pennsylvania can't take a chance that answer is true. But she's been there for 20 years. That's what she's been saying for a long time. And she will do that. There's no chance that she's going to allow it. The election will take place. If she won, you're not going to have any fracking in Pennsylvania. You have 500,000 jobs. Think of that. It's your biggest business. And you get a big majority of your income from fracking. And you have somebody that's not going to allow fracking. She's not going to allow it. You can't take the chance. You have no choice. You've got to vote for me. You've got to vote for me. You got to. Even if you don't like me, Yeah. It's like, no, but even if you don't like me, you can sit there and say, I can't stand that guy, but there's no way I'm going to vote for her. No, you have to have fracking. You're the biggest in the country for this. You have two of the biggest sites in the world. It's a massive business for Pennsylvania, and you can't take a chance. She will not allow fracking. She's not going to, and she's got a lot of other problems too. But for your particular, for the Commonwealth, you have no choice,
if I may,
but to allow it.
16 minutes and 30 seconds are up. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
The president has spoken for a total of 16 minutes and 30 seconds.
I'll say something else
real quick, because we got to break.
If you watch that interview, she had notes. That means she knew the questions, and she had notes. She kept looking down, up. Nobody wants to cover it. I know all about notes. I mean, it's all right if people know that, but she wasn't supposed to have notes. So she's asked a question. She looks down. She keeps on. She had notes. That means she knew that she knew what was happening.
Did her campaign, when they said that they wanted to change the rules that they had agreed to, Did they ask for notes? Did they ask for the?
They wanted notes.
They wanted to be seated, and they wanted your mic hot.
They wanted a desk. They didn't want to do. I said, you got to do a stand up.
After they already agreed to the other.
Yeah, but they wanted a desk from the beginning. You know who else wanted a desk? Sleepy Joe. He wanted a desk.
All right, we got to take a break. More with President Trump. We are in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We'll continue our town hall. We'll get audience questions and much more. Thank you for being with us.
Okay, folks, we're going to pop back in. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I agree. Sometimes he has a little bit of difficulty staying focused. So just saying, Anyway, glad you guys are here tonight. My name is Brian Trippett on the Front Porch Conservative. I'm going to keep an eye on things as far as the interview is concerned. I'll pop back in when they come out of commercial. But glad you guys are here tonight. He's getting some good zingers in. But yeah, I kind of agree. Let's focus. Let's focus on Kamala. Focus on Kamala. Stay on the he does. True. I give you that. Yeah, well, I could say that of a lot of people. But yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, agreed. Anyway, glad you guys are here tonight. Got a nice crowd that's joined in with us. And absolutely glad to have you all here. Absolutely glad to have you here. Hey guys, do me a favor, only because my internet's a little glitchy. But if you see that they're coming back in and I haven't necessarily made a move toward minimizing or whatever, just kind of let me know. I'd appreciate it. But this is sort of where we're at. Trump is good at getting his message out. He's getting his points in, but I'm kind of like you. He's a little bit wandering, at least, sometimes. But yeah, if he stays focused, he's fine. But yeah, sometimes he just goes off on a tangent. Absolutely agree with you there. And I want to also thank a new subscriber to the channel, Maxilla YT. Thank you very much for subscribing. Genuinely do appreciate it. Yeah, if you've got friends out there, please feel free. Share it around. Glad to have as many people here as possible. If you're not subscribed to the channel on YouTube and on Rumble, please give a sub. We would greatly appreciate it. Do like Maxilla. So there you go. Just basically waiting for them to come back in from commercial. Yeah, he's hitting on the things in Pennsylvania that he wants to talk about. He wants to talk about fracking. I think, and I agree with Gypsy on this, he needs to hammer this issue of the gangs out in Colorado. Blocked ad runner over on Rumble says, yeah, and if we kept the same schedule he did, we'd likely lose speaking focus too. I don't know if I could. Yeah, I tell you what, I will give him this 77-year-old man. How that guy is doing everything he's doing, I have no idea. It is just remarkable to watch him work. Not to say that, he will tell you that he's everything that he was, X number of years ago, but even still, even if he's lost a step or a half a step, I don't know. Most 40-year-olds could keep up with the guy. No kidding. He's something to watch. He truly is. But anyway, we're basically waiting for them to come back in off a commercial. It's about 9:30 Eastern. And my name is Brian Trippett on the Front Porch Conservative. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please give a sub. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Hang on. I think they're still trying to confirm a lot of that because now they're saying that the tenants have some kind of issue with the landlords. And it's like, I've heard that too. I've heard this very same thing. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Blocked ad runner says, I wish I had half the energy that Trump does. Yeah, can't lie about that. Cannot lie about that at all. But just keeping an eye on things until they come back in. So it shouldn't be too much longer, folks. But glad to have you all here tonight. We got a very nice crowd on Rob Valerino over on Rumble says, I don't have Trump's energy and I'm 55 years old. There you go. I'm 52 and I'm like, how the heck does this guy do it? Oh, okay. All right. So there is some back and forth about what's going on. Okay. So yeah. I think Trump needs to hammer that issue because I'm telling you, who was it? Let me think. I believe Ann Coulter made a really good point. Back in 1988, you had the Willie Horton issue, which dominated the campaign. Well, these roving gangs could absolutely wind up being this campaign's answer for Willie Horton. Okay, it looks like they're about to come back off a commercial. Well, they're getting close anyway. So, I really do wish. Oh my goodness, Scott Field over on Rumble. He says he's watching from Australia. Well, Scott Field, thank you very much for being here. We genuinely appreciate the down under support. We also appreciate the up under support or any support we get. But yeah, that's Scott Field. That's very cool. Thank you for being here tonight from Australia, ladies and gentlemen. That's awesome. Totally awesome. Glad to see that. Yeah, really appreciate it, Scott Field, and glad you're here tonight. So welcome to Fedora Nation and everybody who's here tonight, actually, whether you're subscribed or not subscribed. We's a friendly bunch. So, welcome, pull yourself up a chair, pour yourself something that you got, and, sit down for a spell and let's talk. Anyway, they should be coming out of commercial here any moment now. They're at the bottom of the hour, so I figured it ought to be happening anytime soon. So we'll see I'm also curious to see what kind of questions that Trump gets from the audience. Very curious to see that. So should be coming out of commercial here any moment now, but glad to have all you guys here. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel on Rumble and on YouTube, would really appreciate to have your subscription. It'd be awesome. Also, and also leave a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Okay, they're coming out. They're coming out of it. We're going to slip back, and here we go. Hang on, folks. There we go.
That term, radical Islamic terrorism, which ignores how Muslims have overwhelmingly been the greatest victims of terror. And we must also have the courage to reject that term, illegal alien. I have seen some of the worst of criminal behavior. I have seen the worst of crime. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
All right, we continue in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We're broadcasting in front of a massive crowd. By the way, we have in our audience, he is the Republican challenger to a 98.6% Joe Biden, Kamala Harris voting supporter. Dave McCormick is running against Senator Casey in what is a very important race. Dave, great to have you.
Thank you.
Now, you just heard Kamala Harris, our country's failed border czar, talking about her commitment. You need the courage to never say the word radical Islamic terrorism or illegal alien. President Trump is back with us. What is your reaction to that? Because who attacked us on 9/11 and who's crossing our border?
So she wants to be politically correct, and we can't be politically correct anymore. Look, we have October 7th. People saw it. We have things going on in the world right now with Israel and with the Middle East is blowing up. It's blowing up. We have Ukraine and Russia. That would never happen. That would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. If I were the president, it would have never happened, and everybody knew it. Iran was broke. They didn't have the money for Hamas and for Hezbollah. They didn't have the money for anybody. They wanted to get by. And we would have made a fair deal with them. I was only looking to make a fair deal with them. But, I wanted to say it so much during my term. We went 4 years without any blow-ups. We had no World Trade Center blow-up. We had no radical Islamic terror. We had no radical Islamic terror because we were very tough at the borders and we were very tough with our statements, and we had the whole world was a safe place. That was the question they asked Viktor Orban, who's really considered a very strong. They said he's a strong man. Sometimes you need a strong man. He's a strong man. He's the prime minister of Hungary. And he said, you bring back Trump, everybody. Now, I'm not saying it. But he said it because I'd rather say respect. But he said, everybody was afraid of Trump. You bring him back, you're not going to have any problems. It's all going to go away. The world is blowing up. The world is blowing up.
This brings...
And Sean, one thing.
Yeah.
The world is blowing up. And when you look at Ukraine and you look at Russia, you look at all the things that are happening, we are potentially getting ready. I'm telling you, and I've made a lot of predictions, and this is not a prediction because it's so bad. I don't want it to be a prediction. We're heading into World War III territory. And because of the power of weapons, nuclear weapons in particular, but other weapons also, and I know the weapons better than anybody because I'm the one that bought them and we rebuilt our entire military. We upgraded our entire program. And the one program I hated to upgrade, hated it, was the nuclear program. And I understand it maybe better than anybody. My uncle was at MIT, a professor, the longest serving professor in the history of MIT, a very smart guy. We have a smart family. It's nice to have a smart family. But I understood nuclear for a long time, the power of nuclear weapons. You need a president that's not going to be taking you into war. We won't have World War III when I'm elected. But with these clowns that you have in there now, you're going to end up having World War III. And it's going to be a war like no other.
Let me ask you a more personal question, because you paid a very big price for getting into the political arena. Never mind opportunity costs that you would have had. You've had a successful business. Obviously, you've been a victim of lawfare, if you will, or a weaponized Department of Justice. Although the Supreme Court ruling on immunity, I think, was very clear, although certain judges may not abide by it.
Yeah.
And I listened to you talk about the borders. I listened to you talk about how dangerous the world situation is. I listened to you talk about the economy and fracking and the need for energy, and I hear you. And then I ask myself, okay, why is this different? If 2016 was about the forgotten man and forgotten woman, what is 2024 about?
So it's not that different. It's still about the forgotten man and the forgotten woman. People are being treated horribly in this country. We're a country that's being laughed at all over the world. And I'll be honest, if Joe Biden would be a great president, I would be happier than being the worst president in the history of our country, because I want to see what's good for the country. And I would have been very happy. I have very nice places I could be. This is not easy. I got shot at, I got hit. I could have been all over that place. I could have, but you know what? It's very simple, and it starts with make America great again. That's what we have to do.
It makes me think that if you look at everything that we discussed tonight, and you look at your platform.
Thank you.
What really infuriates me, and I'm straightforward. I'm a member of the press, but I'm a talk show host. I'm a conservative, and people know where I stand. I think the press, they're all liberal talk show hosts, but they're dishonest about who they are, and they have an agenda. They've never played Kamala in her own words. So radical statements or extreme statements, I think dangerous statements. And I just think that if we're talking about the border, all of these 11 million, it was all preventable. I think on the economy, if you had sound economic policy, you handed off 1.4% inflation, we'd be doing better in the economy. We'd be energy dominant by now because we were on a path towards energy dominance. We wouldn't have to, Iran was in check. You had them on the verge of bankruptcy. Russia, you had a relationship with them, and North Korea and the mullahs.
But nobody was tougher with Russia than me. I shut down the biggest pipeline in the world that Russia was building. It was called Nord Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of it. And I said, no way. I said to Germany, there's no way we're going to protect you with NATO and spend billions of dollars protecting Europe, and you guys are going to be buying oil from the person and the group that we're protecting you from. And I shut it down. It was 100% shut down. And then this pathetic person comes in, and he immediately approves it. But he shut down the Keystone XL pipeline, our pipeline. And the head of that union, by the way, the pipe fitters union, the pipeline union, The head of that union nominated and was a big deal in the Biden campaign, and he endorsed him. And those people, 48,000 people lost their jobs. It was all approved. I got it approved. Obama rejected it. I approved it. It was starting. They spent billions of dollars. It was also, and they rejected it. It would have been fantastic for us, including the 48,000 jobs. And what he did is he let Russia build the pipeline that I had stopped. It was totally stopped. Going to Germany and other countries. Think of it. We protect them from Russia, and yet they pay Russia billions of dollars. Does it make sense? So I was the toughest on Russia. Putin would even say, you know, if you're not the toughest guy, you're killing us. I'd hate to see you if you were really tough. This was the biggest job they've ever had, and I stopped it. And you know what? Russia would have been fine. China would have been fine. China was fine. China paid us hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs under me. Under no other president, and I mean right from the beginning, did they pay 10 cents.
You know, we're going to get to audience questions. I do have a question as we go to break. And I think this should be a question asked in every presidential election. And I'll ask the people here in Harrisburg, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Okay. When we come back, more of former President Trump. We're in Harrisburg, PA, as we continue.
Okay, folks, we're going to a commercial break, so I'm going to go ahead and pop back in with some thoughts. My name is Brian Tripp, and I'm the Front Porch Conservative. If you're here, thank you for joining us tonight. Glad to have everybody here in the audience. I'm going to say something's probably going to get me in trouble, but then again, I don't think I'm too far afield on this one. I understand that when Donald Trump is offered an opportunity to go on national television like Fox News or anywhere else, yeah, he takes it. I'm going to be honest with you. If he gets the opportunity to do something like this tonight, okay, yeah, I get it. Me, I'm starting to wonder if he's not better served for himself to be doing these long-form interviews with podcasters. Because I think part of what's going on is he's trying to play to the crowd. And again, I got nothing against Trump. I'm not trying to bash on the guy, but you know, I don't think this is one of his better speaking performances. And again, I love the guy. I'm supporting him in the election, but you know, it's just me. And again, I'm not trying to bust his chops or anything. I'm starting to wonder if he wouldn't be better served doing the kind of interviews he's been doing, like with Lex Friedman and others. Well, okay, fair enough. I can agree with that. Yeah, now this I will agree with. I'll agree with this. I will agree with this completely. I need to dig into this one. I really do, because we touched on it just a very little bit, but the people who are involved, I have got to see this. Well, and that's true too. Yeah, but this DOJ tenant media story, I need to dig into, because this is, yeah, true. Well, and this is a fair point. You call it a town hall. That means people ought to be asking questions. I'm sorry. I can understand if Hannity was talking for maybe the first 30 minutes and asking some questions. But on the other hand, town hall is supposed to be interactive. Okay, Ruben. Thank you, sir. Always glad to have you here in the audience, brother. Always glad to have you here. But yeah, I really wish. I mean, look, we're now down to like 15 minutes left. If they get 3 questions in, and again, this is not any kind of, smacking Trump around. If they get 3 questions in, I'll be shocked. Because when Trump goes to answer a question, it's kind of like, he's gonna be there for a little while on a particular question, whatever it may be. But anyway, again, I'm not trying not trying to bash. I'm just, these are just my observations. Anyway, glad to have you guys here tonight. My name is Brian Tripp on the Front Porch Conservative. If you're not subscribed to my channel on YouTube or Rumble, please consider doing so. I'd appreciate it. And I saw that some people have signed up for subscriptions tonight, and that is awesome. Thank you very much for becoming part of Fedora Nation. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. We're just basically waiting for them to come out of the break, and then we will pop back over. So glad you guys are here with us tonight. Thank you for all the audience commentary and interaction. Always greatly appreciated. Always greatly appreciated. Yeah, I know. I'm hoping they get several questions in, but if they get 3 with this much time left, I'll be surprised. I will. But yeah, that's why I'm a little. Honestly, I'm gonna say something else too. CNN does a better job conducting a town hall, especially if it's Trump. I'm gonna be honest. That one he did with Caitlin Collins about a year or so ago. As much as I dislike Caitlin Collins, she did a fabulous job running the thing. She might be a horrible personality, but honestly, she did a good job with it. Thing when he and Hannity get together, Hannity just kind of lets him wander. But that's just me. That's just me being me. Anyway, glad you guys are here tonight. Now this is possible too. That is possible. No, Blocked Ad Runner, I'm not putting up with you guys. You guys are putting up with me. Let's see. And M169, yeah, he can ramble. Does he? Yeah, kind of makes you wonder sometimes. Yeah, and honestly, and the reason I guess I'm saying that I wonder if Trump's not better served with podcasters, it's the quiet and the interaction between two people. That's kind of why I'm saying that. I thought the Lex Friedman interview was very good, even though they may not wind up agreeing on a lot of different things. I thought the Lex Friedman interview was very good that he did with Trump, and Trump sitting down with him. So just my observation. Anyway, glad you guys are here. This is we're eavesdropping on the town hall that Hannity's hosting with former President Donald Trump. 61 days to the election. After midnight, it will be an even 60. So buckle up, folks. This is going to get wild, which, by the way, we are going to live stream the debate coming up on the 10th of September between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump. All right, looks like they're coming back in, and we will pop back over. So give me 1 second. We'll make this thing happen.
Consider inflation transitory. I mean, these price spikes seem like they're going to be with us for a while.
We have to address the fact that we got to deal with the fact that folks are paying for gas, paying for groceries, and need solutions to it.
Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
And it's rough. Groceries, the cost of groceries has gone up, the cost of gas has gone up, and as this is all happening in the context of 2 years of a pandemic, it's one of the highest priorities actually for the president and for me.
That is called Bidenomics. That is called Bidenomics, and we are very proud of Bidenomics.
All right, we continue she's very proud of Bidenomics. In Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, that was Kamala Harris touting her pretty radical beliefs on the economy. In her own words, according to Kamala, her values have not changed. We don't know where she stands because she's only done an interview for 16 minutes and 29 seconds spoken. So on the issue of the economy, just that, how many of you in this room, and you can all close your eyes so you're not looking at your neighbor, have struggled economically in the last number of years? Wow. And when I started my adult life, I struggled to pay my rent. you know my jobs. I've listed them 100 times. Working in the service industry and bartending and cooking and washing dishes and construction. Not McDonald's. That was a lie. And
By the way, she didn't work at McDonald's, right?
She did not. Well, there's no evidence of it.
Did she work at McDonald's? Because
so far, no evidence.
I don't think so, based on what I said.
Here's my question. She wants to raise corporate taxes. She wants to raise small business taxes, capital gain taxes, estate taxes, the international corporate minimum tax, to the point where America won't be competitive anymore. And your tax cuts are about to expire in 2025. What does this mean for the economy? What does it mean for everybody here struggling?
So I gave you the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. If you let the Trump tax cuts expire, which she wants to do, she wants to terminate them. If you do that, you will suffer the biggest tax increase in history. There's never been a tax increase like it. On top of which, she wants to add a lot of tax. This country will end up, and I've said this a lot, and I mean it, this country will end up in a depression if she becomes president, like 1929. This will be a 1929 depression. She has no idea what the hell she's doing.
What if unrealized capital gains taxes were implemented? What would
she
that
wants
do?
to do that. This is where you have something, you don't even know what the value is. I tell you what, if that's going to happen, go out and open an appraisal company, because you're going to make a fortune. That's about the only group that's going to make it, and accountants. It is the craziest idea. And remember this, very rich people and big international corporations, they don't have to stay in the United States. And they will be forced to leave for other countries. They can't afford to do a thing like that. They may have great wealth and no cash, and they're going to have to pay cash. Where are they going to get the cash? If they do that, the unrealized capital gain, it's been talked about for a few years by ultra-left Marxists only. Like her father's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist teacher of economics. Can you believe this? But if that happened, this country, and I think forgetting about that particular, she's got a lot of things that are just as bad. If she gets in, I think we will have a depression, 1929 style depression. That's what I think will happen to our country. Already they've set us on a path.
What about price gauging, as she calls it, or gouging?
Well, she called it gauging.
And what if they implement that and then price controls?
Yeah,
that's been tried in
many times.
The former Soviet Union, Venezuela, even in this country in the 70s, it was a disaster.
Yeah, every time it's been tried, no matter over hundreds of years, not just over hundreds of years, price controls, you end up with no product, you end up with massive inflation, and you end up with the destruction of a country.
How does this impact? How do high interest rates impact? How does inflation impact everybody that's here?
Well, they can't buy a home. They can't do anything. Your business is stopped up. You can't borrow money. And by the way, I had interest rates at 2%. Now they're 10%, but you can't get the money. You can't get the money. There's no money available. So 10% is right. If you can't get the money, 10% is not the right number. It's got to be much more than that. You can't borrow money to buy a house now.
It really is unbelievable. So we have all of this. Now, let me talk about, in 6 days, you will have probably your only opportunity to debate Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
If I vote instead of George Stephanopoulos' network that I get to moderate the debate. Just saying. But ABC is not.
ABC is the worst network in terms of fairness. They had a poll where I was 17 points down a couple of days prior to the election. I was 17 points down in Wisconsin. And they do that so people don't vote because, hey, I love Trump, but he's 17 points down. I'm not going to go out and vote. I was 17 points down and I won. And I called the best pollster. I said, why wouldn't they say 5 or 4 or 3? Because at 3, you go and vote. At 17, your people say, I want to vote, but, I'm busy. I have other things to do. Let's go see a movie and we'll watch the results later. They are the most dishonest network, the meanest, the nastiest, but that was what I was presented with. I was presented with ABC, George Slopadopoulos. You know who he is? And he's a nasty guy. And yet, he's a nasty guy. I've had him up to here. But let me tell you, he's a very, very bad kind of a guy. But I watched his interview of Joe Biden. It was like the softest interview I've ever seen. It was softer than the CNN interview of Kamala. So, but they're very nasty. And I think a lot of people are going to be watching to see how nasty they are, how unfair they are. I agreed to do it because they wouldn't do any other network. The other thing is, her best friend is the head of the network. Her husband's best friend is married to the head of the network. And they're going to get the questions. I've already heard they're going to get the questions in advance. They even have Donna Brazil. Remember Donna Brazil? She gave Donna Brazil. She's the real beauty. Donna Brazil. She gave Hillary Clinton the questions. You remember that? And she works for ABC, and she's at the round table talking about the debate. So we're going to watch very closly, but you're not allowed to do it. We even have a clause in the contract. You can't give them the questions, but I'm not sure it's going to help her that much, though. I think you might give her the questions and give her the answers with the questions. I'm not sure it's going to help her.
I don't know. All right. Now, so unlike Kamala Harris, our time is actually up. However, we're going to let Dave McCormick ask the first question, and we're going to air that not tonight, but tomorrow night.
He always does this, yeah.
I do.
Our time's up, but you know what? Let's make 2 shows out of it.
More from President Trump as we continue. We are in the all-important state of Pennsylvania and Harrisburg. Thank you for being with us.
We believe at New Day USA, we have a noble.
All right, I'm not going to lie about it. I'm mad. And I'm not going to lie about it at all. I'm mad. Look, if you want to let Sean Hannity host a town hall, fine. I don't think it's a particularly good idea, but fine. But if you're going to do this is crap. This is absolutely crap. If you're going to have Hannity do this, you do it on one night and do it in 2 hours, okay? No offense to Gutfeld, but Greg can wait for one night. Okay? This is garbage. This is Sean Hannity milking this thing for all he's worth, which don't get me wrong. I've got the guy's on TV. He's trying to get ratings. I understand. But this is crap. So you're going to spread this out over 2 nights. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm absolutely sorry. It's garbage. Are you talking about the interview that he did with Rogan? No. That's Brett Weinstein. That's Brett Weinstein. Yeah, I think I know the interview you're talking about, Gypsy. Blocked ad runner over on Rumble says Gutfeld should do the debate. I don't disagree with that at all. I think Greg, in all seriousness, say what you want to about Greg Gutfeld, but Greg would be tremendous. He would be absolutely tremendous. He really would. I think he'd be fantastic. I really do. I think he'd be, yeah. Oh yeah. I agree. Midmo, I'm sorry. I didn't see the comment, but I think you're absolutely right. I'm sorry. My apologies. I didn't see it. But yeah, I think Gutfeld would be great. I could think of any number of guys that I'd love to see moderate a debate. You know, who was it the other day? Yeah, it was Rich Barris. He said, and he keeps saying this, and I don't disagree with him, but Trump had a golden opportunity to break this stuff up as far as the networks having control of the debates and how they're done and who gets to moderate them and all that. you know, why don't we just do this stuff? I mean, I've said it, and I'll say it again. Why don't we just do this stuff where either Rumble or YouTube or both of them co-host it, and then Trump gets to pick a moderator, Kamala gets to pick a moderator, the host platform gets to pick a moderator. That way, you might have 3, maybe even 4 moderators, and they're all asking questions for a good hour and a half. Let them have at it, and just break this stuff up. It just absolutely infuriates me that this wheel should and can and should be easily broken, and it's not. It's really not. Yeah, and pick the questions randomly. Nobody knows what's coming. Could be on any subject. Could be on absolutely any subject at all. So, but yeah, I mean, and I'm going to say something else probably going to get me in trouble too. Sean, you've made enough money. Son, retire. Just hang it up. A 2-hour town hall. He's going to spread it out over 2 nights, and just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. This should have been done in 1 night. Which, like I said, I get it. He's trying to make his bones. I understand, but this is just absolutely ridiculous. Just ridiculous. But then again, honestly, and I forgive me, folks, I'm venting here, and I apologize. We're waiting for them to come out of the commercial. But I think the next time I see that Sean Hannity's hosting any kind of a town hall, I don't care if it's Trump or not, I'm not going to cover it. I'm not going to do it. It's not worth it. I'm probably not going to do it. I really won't. Okay, looks like they're about to come out of break. Let's see what we get here. If they're still going to carry on or what. Hang on, folks. I'm just checking in. Well, they may be about to come out of break. Okay, they're coming out of break. Hang on. Let me get this thing pulled back up. And here we go.
All right. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left this evening. Thank you, President Trump. Great to see you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Harrisburg. We love you. In the meantime, set your DVR so you never miss an episode. Let out your heartbeat trouble. Greg Gutfeld is next to put a smile on your face. Part 2 of Donald Trump tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, I'm pissed. I am absolutely pissed. Yeah. Hannity and Fox. F them both. Unbelievable. I'm serious. I don't, for as long as I've got a live stream, I don't care if it's this election. I don't care what it is. If I find out Sean Hannity is hosting somebody, now if it were Kamala Harris, which she'll never do, of course, then I might be willing to do it. But after this, never again. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Ruben. That's not a bad idea at all. Not a bad idea at all. You've heard the old expression, familiarity breeds contempt. I think that Hannity is so familiar with Trump, he's treating the audience with contempt. he's giving them what Sean Hannity thinks they want to hear. And yeah, they're taking questions, but they're going to air them tomorrow night. And I'm sorry, I'm pardon my language, that's a chicken shit move. I mean, look, it's his show. He's on the air. He's trying to get ratings. I respect that. I'm a live streamer. I'm trying to grow my audience. So, but I'm sorry. If I tell you guys I'm going to do something, I will do my best to honor my word about how I'm going to do it. If I tell you, hey, I'm going to do an interview with this person, okay, my intention is that it's one shot. You get to watch it. And, but again, then doing what I do here is different than network television. I understand that difference. But this is bait and switch. Yeah, don't call it a town hall. No, okay, I'll agree with that. And Trump got in his points tonight. He got in what he wanted to do. I still felt like the performance in and of itself was meandering. But honestly, I give Trump a C. I really do. Yeah, and Hannity is part of the machine. That's why I want to see him off the stage as soon as possible. Don't get me wrong, I don't wish any ill will on the guy, but this is ridiculous. Don't call it a town hall and then you spread this thing out over 2 nights. Yeah, well, that's true. That's true too. That's absolutely true. Yeah, Fox News has just left the door open that all the criticism of Harris's interview gets all the gas gets taken right out of that engine. Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But I mean, this could have been so much more. I mean, Christian was asking me earlier, what's the most frustrating part of all this? The fact that I think that Sean Hannity was treating his audience and the nation with contempt because of his familiarity with Trump, to make a play on that phrase. But the other thing is, this could have been so much more. It could have been done so much differently. I think that's part of what is really, I guess, maybe now why I am preferring podcast interviews of Trump to stuff like this. The podcast interviews are more substantive. They're more personal. They're quieter. Yeah, Trump's still being a showman, but it's not like, or you're in the middle of a 3-ring circus on Fox News that Sean Hannity is ringmaster of, and Trump's putting on a complete show. Now, yes, he did make good points. Oh, this is absolutely true. Yeah. They want to use Trump, but they don't want him to win. I agree with that. I can't disagree with that at all. I mean, folks, look, I'm going to apologize for this. I know I don't have any direct control over what Fox does, but, I advertise this as a town hall, and this is not what Fox did a bait and switch. Which, again, it's their network. They can do whatever they want, but if you're going to call it a town hall, why don't you have the good decency to do it all in one night? Greg Gutfeld can take the night off. We're 60 days out of an election. Why not just let people watch this on their own and make their own determination? Instead, you're helping your guy get his ratings up. Which, yeah, he's your guy. It's your network. You can do it however you want. Yeah, it's Sean Hannity's show. He can do it however he wants. But this is chicken shit. This is absolute chicken shit maneuvering on the part of Sean Hannity, on the part of Fox News, the whole lot of them. Hannity is absolutely part of the machine. And just got a real good example of it tonight. But yeah, well, I Christian, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I mean, like I say, the Theo Vaughn interview, the Lex Friedman interview, Aiden Ross interview. You know, if Trump does other interviews with other live streamers, I think it could be great. You know, that's a good question. It really is. There are moments I think he's finally learned his lesson. Then there are moments he goes on shows like this. And again, Trump's trying to accomplish any number of different things. I get it. You know, and I'm not saying that every movie makes his 4D chess, but sometimes you just got to wonder. Yeah, no, dude, as much as I love you, and I think you're probably one of the best commentators out there, cable news is not where you need to be. It wouldn't do you good at all. And I got to get Ruben's comment in here. Here's my take. Fox News is old media. New media, us, is the way forward. To Trump's credit, his secret weapon is Barron, helping him reach. Yeah, and that's something that he admitted to. Yeah. Oh, I have little to no use for Sean Hannity anymore. Little to no use for the guy. Anyway, I shouldn't be ending this evening on such a down note. I do want to thank you guys. This has been a load of fun, absolute load of fun. But we're going to go ahead and bring this train into the station. You guys have got a life, and so do I. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here for a modified version of Chatting on the Porch, which we will be back tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern. We'll be back on normal schedule. We will be back Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. with Front Porch Brunch. And we will also be getting geared up for the debate next Tuesday night, September 10th, between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. And that has the potential to be an absolute barn burner. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for all the comments, for all the links, for everything else. This has been like completely and totally awesome. Thank you for new subscribers. You guys have been totally awesome. Yes, please like and comment. Mr. Algorithm likes that sort of thing. But yeah, we've got some new folks on both sides tonight. You guys are totally awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Again, we will be back tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, for a regular session of Chatting on the Porch. I'm going to try and get all that stuff in tonight that I wasn't able to pull up and get done for our eavesdropping sessions. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you very much for being here. We'll be back tomorrow night, 7:30, Chatting on the Porch. Set your calendars for it. And in the meanwhile, remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here.